Hi guys, and welcome back to another edition of The Love Connection with me, Taj B, your international matchmaker and relationship consultant. Happy Friday, guys, to each and every one of you. So you've been following our social media posts. You know that it is a somber episode today. So don't stick around to hear the match of the week and the Dear Taj moments and all that fun stuff, because we're not here to speak about the fun stuff. October, as you guys know, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That's why we've got our pink going on. But it also is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. And as a result, we are going to speak about this today because the statistics show that 1 in 4 couples experience the loss of a baby. So 1 in 4 is a lot. That means that's a lot of us, over a quarter of us, guys. So we can't do the Love Connection through October and not speak on this. And fans of the show, longtime Love Connectors, you guys know that I am part of the statistic of 1 over 4. Sorry, the statistic of 1 in 4, right? So it's like it's mandatory. It's part of my job in being here before you guys, that I should come and speak about living with the loss of a child. You guys are watching. You guys know this little face because you guys have seen it many times before, and God's willing, I can have you see it many, many more times to come. And this is my little guy, Raj, actually the great people at PRF Events. So you can go check them out at prfevents.com or on any of their social media platforms. They actually make mourning candles as well. So if you have lost a baby or any other loved one, you can have a little candle made, in their honor. You can burn it when you're thinking about your baby, thinking about your child. It's just a nice little personalized touch. So you can go ahead and go straight to their website or go on their platforms. You could order your own personalized mourning candles for your little one, your little bundle, okay? So it also shows us that the statistics are that about 75% of couples who experience the loss of a child then go on to separate. So we're going to try our best to see how can we prevent this here today. And let me say that I am not purporting that I have all the answers, or I know how to mourn best, or I know how best to hold on to your relationship when you've lost a child. It's still a process. As long as you're living, it continues to be a process. Grieving is never over. You don't stop grieving one day. As long as you are alive and your child is not, you will be grieving that child. So I can't sit here and say that I have all the answers. I'm still going through the process myself. Sometimes it seems like my husband and I, we cannot even make it due to the fact that we have lost our son. Losing our son has definitely put a new degree, a new angle on our relationship that wasn't there before. And sometimes it's very hard to navigate around our individual feelings of grief and being able to come to a place where we remember that we are in this together. We've lost him together. We are building our relationship together, right? Like sometimes it's easy to fall into me, and how I am feeling, okay? So I'm just going to try my best, guys. We're just going to go down to some tips and some suggestions as to how best we can hold on to our relationship. Not only have our relationship survive, but also how can we make our relationship thrive, right? So first things first is be honest about the way that you feel. Be open about the way that you feel. So you're not up for something, you're just not up for it. You should just make that very clear, right? If you're honest about your feelings, and the people around you can clearly know what's going on with you and they have no excuses. You understand? Whereas if you're not honest with them, it's all a guessing game. It's all up to who knows what's going on, okay? You want to do stuff, you want to keep the memory of your child alive. For those of us who have experienced a miscarriage, you are in a position where, because the baby didn't come to fruition, didn't come into this world, a lot of people around you may make you feel as if you have nothing to mourn, right? Like you have nothing to grieve because you had nothing to begin with. But you were preparing for a child. There are preparations in the child. You bought stuff for your baby. You got a nursery together. You prepared for a child that was going to be coming into this world. So it is right for you to mourn the loss of that. And even if you never bought anything for your child, the fact that you knew in your mind that you were expecting, and then you were preparing for that mentally, even if you were not doing so physically. And that in itself, it's something to grieve over. For you men, you're sometimes at a loss when you have a miscarriage, because though your woman is the one physically carrying the child, this is your child too. And you have lost this child as well, because you had been looking forward to what your life would be like as a daddy, if you're not one as of yet, how your life will change when you bring this child into the world, and what does this child mean for you. You were envisioning your life with your baby, so you are mourning as well. And it's not all about supporting the woman, being there for her, making her feel better. You are a human being. Yes, you're a man, but you are a human. So therefore, you're entitled to having human feelings of grief, of sorrow, of loss, of pain, of anger, right? And you're to express those. And who else should you be able to express them to other than your partner? So if you have experienced a miscarriage in your relationship, it's not about simply her and making her feel comfortable and the situation as to how she feels. It's completely about you as well. And women, I am not minoring the fact that we carry the children, and a man honestly has no idea. But sorry, man, you have no idea, and you cannot have no idea. And that's just a privilege of being a man, right? You have no idea what it's like to carry a child. You have no idea what it's like to then lose that child inside of you, okay? Another thing about miscarriages, guys, is the blame game, right? We don't want to throw blame around. A lot of the times, scientifically, it's been proven there is no answer. There is no reason as to why you had a miscarriage, right? And so what happens is a lot of the time the women get the blame. Like maybe it's something you did. Maybe it's something you ate. Oh, you didn't really want a baby in the first place. Who knows? But what I'm here to tell you is you already are experiencing a life traumatizing event. So there's no need to add trauma on top of that by then throwing blame around the place here and there and everywhere. No. Put that aside and let go of the blame game. Now it's not time for that. It's already happened. It's just how can we best support each other moving forward, okay? And maybe one party will be ready, gung-ho, all about having another baby, but maybe the other party won't really be so interested in that. Give it time. Give it time. Maybe as time goes on, you will both be in a different position in life. You'll be in a different place. Now that you've lost your child, lost your pregnancy, you had probably the next 9 months and then plus years of raising the baby plan. So maybe it's now time to throw something into your plans that's different, change it up. Maybe you can take a trip. Maybe you might need to move to a different city together. Maybe you need a change of career, a change of employment. Who knows? But now is the opportunity to try something different, do something new, and see where it takes you both as a couple, okay? In losing your pregnancy, right? Then you end up with, what do we do with all the things moving forward? Now that dates are coming by, like the due dates or anniversary of when you found out that you were pregnant, you're at a loss. And it's hard to connect with the world around you because other people don't really see your loss as a loss, right? Because a child was not born, right? They don't see it as such a big deal, but it is a big deal, and it's a big deal for you. And more importantly, it should be a big deal for the both of you. This is how our relationship is going to be able to move forward, is if we go through all steps of grief, all steps of loss, all steps of renewal together as a partnership, opposed to one person seeking their healing and the other person just letting whatever it is that they can happen to them, okay? Next, some of us have had stillborn babies, and listen, no matter how small the footprint, they have made an impact in our life. And the fact that our baby was born sleeping doesn't make it any more significant than a baby that was born alive, right? So those mothers and fathers of sleeping babies, you are in pain too, a great amount of pain. And this will take a long time to heal, and you may never truly heal, but you have to accept that as a couple, okay? And celebrate the child's life. Just because they were a stillborn doesn't mean that they didn't have a birthday. Because they were stillborn doesn't mean that they were not yours. You and your partner share this child together. So stillborn or not, that child deserves to be celebrated. Stillborn or not, that child is your child. If you can have little pictures, maybe that would make you feel comfortable. You have something to look at as the years go by to remember your child that you did bring into this world, that you did give birth to, right? Regardless, sleeping or not, guys, it is still your baby, and you have all right to celebrate that child's life. And don't ever let anybody, this is what I always tell people, don't ever let anybody with their healthy, alive children come and give you advice about nothing, because they don't understand. They are in no position to tell you what you should or should not be doing. Maybe there are people who love you, like your friends and your family, so they're trying to tell you, ways to get better. Great, but at the end of the day, they have no idea. If you currently tuck your child into bed every night, or you can call your child on the phone, or you know where your child is at this very moment, or you at least have an idea, then you are not part of this club, and you will never understand the pain that your friends and family members are in. And you are in no position to give any sort of advice, right? Because like I always say, guys, I'm here giving advice based on the things that I know, based on my own experience, right? And if I have no experience in it and you guys want me to cover the topic, then I go do my research, right? But I'm not here blabbing my mouth about things that I have no idea of. So all of you, right, who have never experienced this loss, keep your advice and your great ideas and your wonderful thoughts on how to make it better to yourself, okay? So people, you have had your stillborn baby. They need to be celebrated. They are still your baby. Speak their name. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Those of us who have lost a child, we know October says pregnancy and infant loss, but I'll speak to all of us. Whether your child was an infant, a baby, a big old man, doesn't matter. It's still your baby, still your child, and still yours. And it's an unnatural thing because nobody plans to bury their child, right? Like I say all the time, somebody without parents, they are called an orphan, right? You lose your husband or your wife, you are called a widow. But there is no name for someone who has lost a child. The pain is so great that we have not developed our language to even put a name to that pain and to that loss. Okay, guys? So it is significant. It's great. It's up there. And nobody else gets your pain other than your partner. So this is why we should hold on to love when we have it. We should hold on to our relationship, irregardless to how we feel. And trust me, I know how hard that is because I can sit here today and credit my husband for our relationship because a lot of the times in the process of grieving our son, I would feel as if I have nothing really to offer this world. I have nothing to offer you, my husband, as a wife because all I am right now is a grieving mother and all I want to do is cry. So I am in no position to be in love on top of grieving. And I try to push him away. But in the effort of trying to push him away, he wouldn't let me go, right? Shout out to my husband. What's up, boo? So he wouldn't let me go. And then, he would insist that we continue living. He would insist that we continue having life. Not for the sake of my sake or his sake or our family or friends, but for the sake of our child that's no longer here. He has been robbed of the ability to live. He has been robbed of all the things that we ourselves have been given. So the right thing to do is to make the best of all the blessings, of all the opportunities that he has been denied. But we have them ourselves, right? What garbage we would be if we decided to like give up on life. And life, guys, is what our babies and our children wanted most of all. They didn't have it, but we have it. So we can't just give up, guys. And the next thing is, no matter how bad your grief gets, no matter how sad and down and hurt you feel, your heart will keep on beating and you will keep on living. You won't die. Like, just giving up doesn't let you die. I know, shocking, but you won't die. And because of this, you have a duty to continue living to the best of your ability. Because always remember, your own child, not somebody else's child, not somebody out there, your own child was denied these same blessings, this same gift of life that you currently have, okay? Now, how you go about your future once you've lost your child is entirely up to you. Even though your partner is the only person who understands, sometimes you guys are on two different pages. Like, one person is willing to talk about the child and the loss, but the other person is not, right? Like, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to revisit it. They want all stuff of the baby gone out of the house. So you will be in different points. Nobody is wrong and nobody is right. Okay, guys? So we each grieve differently, and nobody should be vilified because of the way that they grieve. So maybe your woman has never cried about the baby you guys lost, or maybe your wife never speaks about you guys' daughter again ever since she died. This doesn't mean that your wife or your husband doesn't care about your child or is no longer grieving or they have somehow moved on. We are different people. No two person are the same, not even twins. So our grief process will also be different, right? So maybe somebody else is quiet. That's the way they grieve. While somebody else is bawling all day and all night. It's different, right? My husband and I, we find ourselves often in two different places of our grief. Sometimes one of us wants to talk about Raj and the other person just wish that you would just shut up. But we have to take a deep breath and give each other the space to grieve according to our feelings, right? Because no two people are the same. Our grief process will not be the same. And just because somebody isn't crying and wailing and screaming about the child or your adult child all day and all night, this doesn't mean that they are not grieving as well. This doesn't mean that they too are not in pain, okay? Like, we cannot judge our partner for the way that they grieve. And judging our partner for their grief, this is what tends to lead to a separation, because we can't stand the fact that he doesn't talk about the kid, or we can't stand the fact that she is so gung-ho about having another child when you've just lost your daughter, right? And we can't take it. Or maybe you're pregnant again and the psycho is planning on naming the child, the baby that passed away's name. Like, you're so upset, you're so angry, and you're internalizing that. You're not speaking to your partner about it. This will eventually lead to a breakdown of your relationship. And you guys know, here on the Love Connection, we're always trying to grow our love. Like, this is our whole point here, because we truly believe that we can change this world. And in order to change the world, it has to start with us. It starts with us on the individual level, and then it starts with our partnerships, our relationships, and then what we show our children, right? So the relationship has to be A+ in order for everything else to fall into place. Okay, guys? Next thing, you want to commemorate the child, right? You don't have to have a party, whatever feels right to you. And it may not feel right for years. Like, it may be 5 years before you ever mention the child's birthday, or, the day the child passed, or the day you had your miscarriage, or, any of those things. It may be a long time before you are in a place where you can even speak about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. But when you do get to the place where you can speak about it, definitely commemorate your child. Because they existed, right? They are a person. They had their own life. You had your own hopes and dreams and aspirations for them. And those things, even though the future for that child died with them, but your love for them did not, right? And that's, I guess, what makes our grief so painful, is that even though the person is dead, our memories don't die with them. Our love doesn't die with them, right? So That's what makes grieving so hard. And another thing we should remember in our grief is the whole horrors of life, terrors of this planet, right, is over for your child. They have been spared this, right? It's done for them. It's just only you left in it. You are the only one who has to deal with the horrors and having to live without them and all of that. We are the only ones suffering, guys, right? The suffering and the pain and the sorrow is over for our babies. It's over for our kids. We are the only one left behind in this pain, in this sadness, okay? So guys, let's go over that. So we're going to need to communicate. We're going to need honesty between each other. You're going to need support. Like, you're going to need the support of your friends and your family. And understand that they may not know how to support you, right? They may not know what to say or what to do. But if they love you, they'll be there. They'll be around, right? They'll just your presence. So if you yourself have not lost a child, but you're watching a show because you're a big fan, hi, then you can go and give this advice to your friends and family. And then you know that the best thing that you can do for your grieving family member or your grieving friend is just to be there. Because you cannot bring the child back, right? So I don't know what you're worried about. Like, you have no powers to resurrect the dead. So therefore, you shouldn't be there like worried, like, what do I do? You can't do nothing. But being there brings a whole world of difference, right? Like, if they have other kids, maybe pick up their children for a while so they don't have to worry about them for a bit. You know, maybe bring them some food so they ain't got to cook. Maybe bring them some drinks, bring them some smokes, like whatever they're going to need to get through this time. But definitely make sure that you be there, okay? Now, in the how you deal with your other children, guys, definitely share the responsibility, if you have other kids, of dealing with them. So no one person feels like they're in it alone, right? No one person feels like everything is on their shoulders. Because this too will lead to the breakdown of your relationship, okay? So take some time off together as a couple. Spend some time apart, right? Little bit of a break. Definitely commemorate the child and, celebrate their life, guys. And support. Be there for each other. It's the only thing, because it's like I said, it has no name for a person who has lost a child. There is no name for this, right? So all that we can do is remember why we got together in the first place. So the loss is great, right? And we're having a hard time. But if we can remember why we got together in the first place, if we can remember our love, this will help us to continue our love. So I hope that helped, guys. I hope you guys like those pointers. I am no way happy to bring this message here before you today, because I am not happy to be a member of this club, and I am not happy that there are so many love connectors that are also members of this club, okay? So guys, remember to subscribe and hit that like button so you always know when the love connection is on and popping, right? And if you yourself are experiencing loss and you would like to speak about it with me, you want some advice, you want us to talk about it, you know where to find me. You can find me on any of the social media platforms. You can find me on Twitter at Love Connect TV. You can find me on Instagram at The Love Connection Show. You can find me on Facebook at Love Connection Show as well. And you can also email me, right? So once you go to any of those platforms, the email is there available. I want to thank you guys for all your support. I want to thank each and every one of you that are on our social media platforms, that are always consistently showing us, giving us love, showing us feedback, all that good stuff, because we cannot do it without you, okay? So guys, if you have lost a child and you would like us to give a little speech about your child, like speak about them, their likes, their dislikes, and maybe if they didn't get to live to have likes and dislikes, you just want us to speak about your process, your pregnancy, what your plans are, anything, just so that we can, kind of get another place in the universe where your child is still living. We are here for that, guys. And remember, if you want to order your morning candles, then definitely you go to PRFEvents.com. And if you like this dress that I am wearing in honor of Child Loss Awareness Month, then you need to go to Miss Seagull Boutique. That's